So as discussed last class, today we would go with one of the important concepts of the composite transformations, that is a rotation of an object about a pivot element. So before that, we have summarized almost the many times what is homogeneous coordinate systems, and we have seen the what is a composite transformation system. That is a composite transformation. The composite transformations always talks about the successive transformations. The successive transformations could be any kind of transformation, such as what is a successive translations, two continuous translations that could be represented by t multiplied by t to a point called p. So that could be represent successive translations could be written like this. And similarly, you have successively scaling. The successively scaling factors are multiplicative, successive translations are additive, and this last third column is a homogeneous systems, right? Now coming to the uh, point, right, rotating an object about a specified pivot point using a rotation matrix. So here is a concept, right? First, what we have to do is we have to do. Let us for 2 minutes. Those people who want to join, let them join, because it makes a lot of disturbance in between to allow them to join and all. Fine. 2D composite transformations. So two successive rotations, two successive translations. This was being studied in the last class at the end. How do you represent successive translations? Two successive translations are additive in nature, and we have done two successive rotations along the two angles theta 1 theta 2 to a fixed point called p. So p is been represented over here. So when you do it, so you have one point rotation and another point rotation could be multiplied to get this. Similarly, two successive scaling has been shown over here. So two successive scaling, when you show it, it is two successive translations and additive, whereas two successive scalings are multiplicative in nature, right? So now coming to the general pivot point rotation. What is general pivot point rotation? So in the case of general, this is your lab program, same as if like you have to write a program. You have to go with the three transformations, right? One is a translation, one is a rotation, again back translation. So that is, you need to translate the object so that the pivot point is moved to the coordinate origin. Remember, you are translating the object, it is not the point, the complete object, to the coordinate origin. Okay, once you move there, what happens is, okay, once you move there, what you are going to do is you are rotate the object about the origin. This is important. How do you rotate about the origin? Right, first translate it. Translate, where do you translate? To the coordinate origin. If this is an object, you are bringing back this to the origin, then you are rotating it. Again, you are performing the back translations. A back translation is being done again back to the original, return to the original position, right? Now how it is being performed, just see it. general pivot point rotation. So you have general pivot point rotation, you have this original object. The original object is being shown over here, right? The original object is being shown over here. So this is a point, this is a point. What you do is you bring to the origin, this is origin 0 0, okay, 0 0. You rotate this to one of the angle, so you rotate it to one of the angle. After rotation, the same rotation will be translated. So we have a translation, we have a rotation, we have a translation. Hence, using homogeneous coordinate system, that is composite transformations, I can multiply translation, rotation, translations, right? Once you perform translation, rotation, translation, you are going to get a matrix. This is called a composite transformation, right? How do you do that? Let us see. So first translation, when you move it to the, this is a translation matrix using homogeneous system, XR, YR to the origin, to origin. So this matrix you need to remember to write your program, two-dimensional pivot point rotation. This is called two-dimensional pivot point rotation. Remember, it is not fixed point rotation, it is a pivot point rotation. There are two types of rotations also. So different matters, it matters, the concept matters. Fixed point is different and a pivot point rotation is different. So pivot point is the point wherein the allocated point is moved to the origin. So this is a translation. Okay, you are translating XR, YR to the, then you are rotating it. You're rotating it. You know all these matrix, how did you find? You have found what is a translation matrix, what is rotation matrix for a 3x3 two-dimensional rotation. This is a two-dimensional translation matrix. Again, you are going to back translation. Translation back after rotation. See, after rotation, you are translating it back to the, so when you multiply this, you are going to get this matrix. This is a important that you have to remember for your programming, right? So once again, those who have joined late, so pivot point rotation consists of basic steps. That is, first move the original object to the origin, then rotate it, then translate it back. So you are moving it to the origin, so this is called translation. Then you are rotating it to one of the axis, then again you are moving back, you are moving back to the original position. Original position is this now, so this is called translations. So translation, rotation, back translation. So obviously, so this gives a composite transformation. So this is a negative translation, right? This is called a negative translation. So you're going to get this point. So this is pivot point rotation. So this is a next lab program that we are going to do it. So you need to memorize this to represent in 3x3 dimensional array, 3x array using two-dimensional matrix. We are going to write this, and we are going to perform a fixed point rotation, two-dimensional fixed point rotation. Then what is general fixed point scaling? Remember, this is the next thing. This is scaling. So which is a multiplicative factor. It is not additive factor. So there are a lot of steps, right? Translate the object so that the fixed point coincides the origin. Same as if like what we did first step. Scale the object or about the origin. Translate the object so that the pivot point is returned to its original position, right? So you are doing to perform the scaling over here. See what we did is, just focus all of you. So what we are going to do is, you brought this original object to the origin, that is translation, scaling, again translation. So TST is a matrix that you have to obtain as a composite transformation, translation, scaling, translation. translation along x-axis, y-axis. So how do you write a homogeneous coordinate matrix with respect to the translation, scaling, translation? So here you have, this is a translation matrix, this is a scaling matrix, this is a translation. You are going to get this, right? This is too important. So translation along x-axis, y-axis, scaling along x-axis, y-axis, translation back along x-axis, y-axis. Similarly here also we have not written it. You have to write it. Translation along x-axis, y-axis, rotation along x-axis, y-axis, translation along the x-axis, y-axis. Next. So what is general fixed point scaling? It is being continued. Okay. So fixed point scaling consists of a translation, scaling, translation, right? It is a continuation of the slides what we have shown you. See, this is how the scaling directions are being represented. See, what is the procedure for determining the two-dimensional scaling directions? So rotate so that the direction coincide with the x and y axis. Apply the scaling transformations. Rotate it back. All right. So in the matrix form, how he has written. So rotate so that the direction coincides with the x and y axis. So it is a reverse rotation, right? Then apply the scaling transformations. Rotate it back. See, you have to coincide this to the x and y axis. So this is a negative rotation. So then you have to scale the things. Then you have to rotate it back to the original position. So the matrix, when you write and directly multiply, you are going to get this. See, this is a rotation. Remember, previously it was a translation, scaling, translation. This is a translation, scaling, translation. This is called general fixed point scaling. General fixed point scaling. General fixed point scaling, right? Similarly, please general pivot point rotation. So that this was, I said, it is regarding your lab program. So if they ask you, they should be able to write general fixed scaling also. How do you determine the scaling directions? This general 2D scaling directions. For that, what is the procedure to determine the general scaling directions? We have to rotate so that it coincides. Rotation, apply the scaling, and back rotation. So this is a matrix. So now we have few of the properties that you have to remember. What are the concatenation properties? So this you could see. They are matrix matrices associative. They're not, right. You could see when you do a composition of the two lot of matrices. These are a few of the properties that had been found. It is not commutative. It is not commutative. So these are the general properties. What are the matrix concatenation properties? Concatenation is nothing but multiplication. Two successive rotations, two successive translation, two successive scalings are commutative. So other transformations such as reflection. What is the meaning of reflection? Let me go wind up so that next week we need to start with the Cohen-Sutherland. I don't want to stretch more on these composite transformations. As you could see here, a lot of things have been covered up to one of the extent, right? This is a general point, pivot point, rotation, scaling we have covered, matrix concatenation properties. Then the next concept we need to go with the Cohen-Sutherland. So let me wind up this reflection so that we'll go to the part 3. What is reflection? In the reflection, you have to reflect the same mirror image of the original object. The thing is that you could see the position. This is the original position. So this has been reflected along the x-axis. Remember, this has been just replicated. So it becomes 2 dash, 3 dash. So these points are transferred over here. These points are transferred over here. These points are transferred over here. So how do you perform these reflections? So what is reflection? Reflection is a mirror image that provides the same original object on some other axis. The image is generated related to the axis of reflection, but rotating the object 180 about the reflection axis. This is a rotation along the 180, what he is stating. Okay. So reflection about the line x equal to 0. This is a reflection along y-axis. This is what I said. See, once again, those who have not followed, this is a reflection along the x-axis where x equals to 1. See, along the x-axis, you are going to reflect it. In this case, how do you write the matrix? How do you write the matrix? You write this reflection along the x-axis, whereas y equal to 0, reflection about the line y equal to 0, x will be equals to 1. One more thing, if you have not understood, see, what about the directions? What about the, you have a point over here, no? This direction is along the x-axis. What is the unit distance along the x-axis? It is same, no? When you come over here, the unit distance is also the same along x-axis. Whereas when you say it is y, it change. It is positive, it has gone change. So reflection along the x-axis, x equals to 1. Here also, the distance from here to here is 3. Here to here, it is also a 3. Whereas y, when you say here, it is change and this is change. So this is what you have to write it. So minus will go, this will go in negative. Y directions, when you mirror an image along the x-axis, the y will go on change. So since and what is this column? This is a homogeneous. This is not z-axis rotation. Remember, this is totally a homogeneous coordinates. This is two-dimensional reflection. So one, x doesn't change, y change in the negative direction when you reflect along the x-axis. All right. Similarly, y-axis reflection. Right? Understand? So y-axis reflection. So in this case, what happens? Again, you can analyze, right? Y x equals to -1. So x equal to -1, why? Because see, the original image is this. So when you say 1, what is the distance along this x-axis? This is negative. This becomes positive. I'm talking about this distance. So obviously it is -1, right? When you say along the y-axis, see from here to here, from here, take this position from here to here, the y-axis remains the same. Here y-axis remains the same. Hence it is a +1. So y doesn't changes. Try to understand why. So it is a, so x equal to 0 in this case, the reflection about the line x equal to 0, that is y-axis reflection. Right? I hope all of you have understood this concept. Now let me go. Right? So this is reflection about the origin. So in the case of reflection about the origin, what is being happening is both the x-axis and y-axis are going to change in negative directions in equal area. This is the original position. See, this is distance. So if you have not understood, once again, let me explain. So you just have this distance from here. It is a negative x-axis. Have this distance. This is negative y, right? So when you when you tally this, this is equivalent directions, but positive, negative. So even x changes in negative, positive, negative direction, y changes in negative. So hence we have seen reflection about the origin is along the negative x and negative y. Similarly, reflection along the y equals to x has been given. So this has been analyzed. This matrix completely has been analyzed based on the changes that you would find when you reflect, right? So you have to calculate this. For example, if you calculate to this one, what is the x? Okay, here you see again from the y, what is the change? Again, you measure from here this y, this x. So that has been identified and been analyzed, the original and the reflect positions, right? Reflection about the line y equals to x, where y equals to x. At this position, remember, at this position, y equals to x, when you reflection is being done along this dotted line. The original position is over here, right? The reflection is being performed with respect to the y equals to x. So the changes that could be done is x will fall 0. The changes along the y-axis will be 1, along the x direction, along the y direction. This is a homogeneous. So this is a transformation matrix that you have to memorize, reflection along the line y equals to x. Other transformations are there. So almost done with this concepts. So let me continue this with the program. When you do the program, I'll explain this, right? So what you have to do right now is, so we'll go with the Cohen Sutherland next week. That is a module to itself, a continuation. So even we have few of the programs with respect to that, right? You have few of the programs. What is Cohen Sutherland program? The people can give the attendance on the chat sessions. The PPT includes a lot of stuff, in fact. So what is being required, that could be explained. That will, I'll explain it. Now you will understand in our program, why do you use matrix mode? OpenGL matrix operations, why it is being used. So till here, you have not analyzed in init functions why you use GL matrix mode. So GL matrix mode is a projection mode that determines how the scene is projected on the screen, right? Use model view matrix also, right? Model viewed mode is used for storing and combining the geometric transformations, because whatever the OpenGL primitives that you write, they are stored as a array of structures in the matrix form in homogeneous coordinate systems. So that is what the concept is. So that is why we had not explained till here why we use GL matrix mode or why do you use model view matrix. So the basic idea in init functions that we have used is projection mode. It determines how the scene should be projected on the screen to the viewer. And model view matrix, it used to store and combine the geometric transformations. Hence we use GL matrix mode. Now you have to justify the programs that you have written till here. right? A call to these transformations routines, what it generates a matrix that is multiplied by the current matrix. Got it? What is your current matrix? The current matrix that you plot it on the window using a 500 cross window or any GL line loop functions or GL point functions. So what it does, model view matrix is used to store and combine the geometric transformations. When we call such transformations, it generates a matrix that is multiplied by the current matrix. Hence, to assign the identity matrix, we have to load compulsorily the identity matrix. So if you don't load, the multiplication or the composite transformations will not happen. So compulsorily init matrix, init functions consist of a load identity matrix and the model view matrix. So this is the basic fundamentals of the today's class. Pivot point rotation we have done, and ultimately why all these transformations is being needed, why you are going to study in your OpenGL programming this composite transformations, homogeneous transformations, so two-dimensional, because any transformations are being done or any sort of things that you are done are happens only with respect to the matrix mode and the by loading the identity matrix, that is the GL matrix mode. Why do we use in our program? Because it determines how the scene is to be projected on the screen. And the model view matrix is used to store and combine the geometric transformations. Right? So ultimately, anything that you draw on the screen or the window is a kind of transformations. So these transformations has to be modeled or to be presented how it should be seen on the shown on the screen. So for that point, model matrix is being called. A call to these transformation routines, what it does, it multiplies the current matrix and hence it assigns the identity matrix to the current matrix. So OpenGL, if they ask you, OpenGL completely depends on the concepts of transformations. It doesn't mean that you simply draw the point and line draw. So there is a certain type of kind of matrix manipulations or matrix operations that happens internally that could be performed by calling these functions that you have to remember. Okay. So this is the final conclusions of this chapter. So few transformations which are being left. So I will do it, right? So translate, rotate, matrix mode, these have been used in our programming. So as of now, to an extent, we have covered up these concepts. Let me review it. So what we have done, see, two-dimensional composite transformations. Other transformations, as I said, along with the lab, I'll do it, right? So next we have to go with the weaving functions. What is weaving functions? What is 2D? On Monday onwards, we'll go with the 2D weaving and all these things. So you don't think that we have not touched module 3. Module 3 almost we have covered in one or another way, because 3D translation, 3D escalation is hardly takes 15 minutes. Those we have though we have done all this 2D. So the 2D, why I went slow, because the major intention is if you understand this, 3D will be quite easy. And on Monday, we'll go with the Cohen-Sutherland and what is weaving, and directly we'll go with the Cohen-Sutherland. So almost the coverage of the syllabus is not a big thing. So it is totally related factors. Why? Hence, I took a lot of time in this units, that is 2D transformations, homogeneous. The ultimate goal is to make sure that you understand the third model easy, right? So one concept is raster transformations. This have to be covered, and weaving had to be covered, and few other transformations which I have left today, so that I will explain along with the lab, that is a shear and reflection along XY plane, so that I'll make sure that I'll complete it. Shear has been left out, and how do you write a shear matrix? This I have to complete along with the Cohen-Sutherland, right? This I have done. What is reflection? Shear along x-axis, shear along the y-axis, I have to complete. This is one of the concept, raster method for transformation and OpenGL. So this concept is there, raster method for geometric transformations. This we have to complete once again. So this concept I have to complete it. So with that, almost we're going to represent. So here you have a clear picture. Why do you use a model view matrix? Okay, so let me explain this in the next class. So as of now, let me stop. If you have any doubts, you can chat. And maybe regarding project, we have few of the discussions that we'll take on next week. So if you have doubts, you could discuss, or else you can leave the sessions as of now.